There are actually 3 huge benefits to asking interviewers during the interview process really good questions. The third benefit is, in my opinion, the most important. So the 3 benefits are: number 1, by asking good questions during the interview process, whether it's to a recruiter or to a hiring manager, it shows them that you are a savvy shopper or an educated buyer. And what I mean by that is it shows to them, it demonstrates to them rather, that you are taking this process very seriously, that it's important to you. And you're literally interviewing them just as much as they're interviewing you. And they want someone who is taking it seriously rather than somebody who is just looking for another job. And FYI, if you've been out of work for a really long time and this is just another job that you're looking to secure, that's totally fine. It's normal. So there's nothing wrong with that. However, you don't want to come across as the person who's desperate. One of my good friends, Laura Leach, she'll always say that desperation is the stinkiest cologne you can wear, and she's right. They can smell it a mile away. So the way you avoid coming across desperate and the way you want to come across is as an educated buyer, and that's by asking the right questions throughout the interview process. So that's benefit number 1. Benefit number 2 is when you ask the right questions about the culture, the onboarding process, the training, the development, everything, it allows you to identify orange flags and, more importantly, red flags. It will tell you if this is a place that's worth working, if it's going to support your growth, if it's going to support your career, or if it's actually going to hinder it. So you won't know that unless you ask good questions. And then the third benefit, like I said, the most important benefit is it transforms a very stuffy meeting from potentially a monologue where you're the one doing all the talking to a dialogue. And why is that important? Well, a dialogue is what allows you to create a free-flowing conversation. And the conversation is the fastest way to build rapport. And it's probably the only way to build rapport, in my opinion. And so why is that important? Why is building rapport important? Well, because in today's market where it's so competitive, you're probably noticing this, and it certainly happens the higher up you go, which is the skill gap between you and the next candidate or the next few candidates that this company is interviewing is usually this big, meaning all of you are really good. So if all of you can do the job, then how do they decide who they're going to hire? Well, it usually comes down to the one that built the best rapport throughout the interview process, the person that was most memorable, the person that took it very seriously. So that's why you want to ask really good questions. So in this post, you will see a list of some of the best questions that we've seen people ask throughout the interview process that's allowed them to accomplish all 3 of these things. It allowed them to build a really great conversation or generate a really good conversation, allowing them to build rapport. It allowed them to identify red and orange flags, and it made them come across as a very savvy shopper. So take a look at these questions. Let me know what you think. And if there's one that you've asked that I didn't include in here, please drop it in the comments so that way I learn from you, and other people who are going through the interview process will also learn as well. And by the way, I don't know if you saw this, but last week I announced that this Thursday, we're doing an interactive workshop where I'll be teaching you how to navigate every aspect of the job search process so that way you can land more interviews and high-paying job offers in the next 90 days without spending so much time or really any time applying. And the reason this is an interactive workshop rather than a webinar is because in a webinar, you can see and hear me, but I can't see and hear you, and I can only read what you write in the comment box. And I'd prefer to do it as a workshop. So 1, we get to know each other, but 2, so that way I can pause in between different lessons and teach them to you, answer any questions, and actually workshop through them with you, so that way you leave knowing exactly what to do, why to do it, and then how to do it well. So it's going to happen this Thursday, July 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific. And I'll put the link in the comments so that way you can register for free. And if you have any questions about it, just let me know, drop me a DM. But I'll see you there. Take care.